Good morning, boys and girls of the internet. Today is Wednesday, February 7th, 2018. This is vlog number 37. And, do you ever notice, like, if you're watching something like a movie or TV show that you've seen before, maybe seen more than once, that you notice inconsistencies or huge plot holes you've never seen before, or just things that, you overanalyze things? Maybe just me, but I've noticed things like that. Every once in a while. Of course, you notice things like, especially in TV shows, where what do they call it? Like, when from scene to scene, there's supposed to be someone that makes sure everything is consistent in between the shots, or like, if someone placed a wallet on a table, and the next scene is supposed to be in the same spot. Well, I've seen, lots of instances where it wasn't, stuff like that, Like, for example, I remember there was like a Friends episode where I think like one of the characters, I think Ross, was eating like a cracker. And one scene, he had a cracker in his hand and like it had a bite out of it. And the next scene, the camera just changed. It was just a change of angle. And then, because, it was just fine. And the cracker was whole. And then the camera changed again, and there was a bite taken out of it. Things like that. What do they call it? Consistency or something. I forget that there's a term for it. I don't remember it right now. But also see things that just don't make sense. For example, a couple weeks ago I was watching Back to the Future, the first one. And everybody's seen Back to the Future. Great movie. I don't take any, anything away from that movie. Everything. It's one of the greatest classics, of, I would do that. It's one of those great movies from the 80s and stuff. Infinitely watchable. I could watch that anytime it's on TV. I'll watch it. I love it. At the very end, of course, Marty is trying to get back to the future. And one of the problems is that the cable running from the clock tower down to the street level is disconnected. And they keep kind of showing the clock and like the minute hands like moving every once in a while because it just goes clunk. Because, of course, what is it? 11:03 p.m. or something like that. That's when it is supposed to strike. 11:04. But there's that scene right where Marty, he's down at the very end of the street, waiting for his little timer, his little alarm clock to go off, so he knows when to start, and to hit the accelerator. Now, I know he's running a DeLorean, and DeLoreans weren't really fast cars. They were pretty, they were supposed to be a lot powerful than what they were, and they're not. But they're not slow cars. I don't know if the added weight of the time components on the car slowed it down. But we do know that early in the movie, when he first gets to 88 miles an hour and travels to the past, it kind of sets a standard baseline of how long it actually takes for it to happen. From like 0 to 88. In the very last scene, as soon as Marty hits the gas and drives down the street, there's at least 2 moments where it kind of shows the clock tower clicking a minute, and then it clicks another minute before Marty even gets to the line. So it takes at least, I think when it does the last click of the minute, that's when the lightning bolt hit. Which, that's another plot hole. People know that the lightning bolt hit at 11:04 p.m. I'm thinking that's what it is. Only because when it hit it, it stopped the clock. But You don't know if that's exactly the second it hit. Like, as soon as the clock, struck, the lightning bolt hit, it could have struck at, 11:03 and 35 seconds, 27 seconds. No one knows that because it doesn't have a second hand. Anyways, going back to what I was saying, from the time Marty, pressed on the accelerator and tried to, race down the street as hard as he could, I'm guaranteeing he floored it. It takes about 2 minutes to get from 0 to 88 miles an hour. That's a slow fucking car. Because normally a car, like, I have to, like, do some research on what a brand new DeLorean 0 to 60 is. But I guarantee you, just from 0 to 60, it's nowhere near even a minute. I guarantee you it's like maybe 8, 9, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. And from 60 to 88, it can't be that much longer. It can't be a minute. That's or more than a minute at least. So as an experiment, I would love to go back and watch the earlier scenes when he first goes back in time. I know when Doc had the car on remote, he line locked it, which who the fuck knows that the car has a line lock, and he apparently he was able to rev the wheels up to, like, I think it was like 50 or something before he, like, let it go and let it run, which in my mind, physics wise, that wouldn't work either, because from what I understand, I would have thought that the time machine goes off whatever the car's speed is at 88 miles an hour, not what the speedometer of the car says. If the car says that the rear wheels are spinning at a rate that tells the speedometer that's going 88 miles an hour, that's not necessarily that the car itself is going 88 miles an hour, momentum-wise. It could be on a dyno, and the rear wheels could be spinning, and the car won't be going anywhere. So, I think that when Doc first, sent Einstein into the future 1 minute, I'm thinking the car was going way slower than that, because usually when you line lock your car and, spin the rear wheels, and if you take it off there, yeah, you'll get a boost in acceleration, and it'll cut your, 0 to 60 time down, but it wasn't a very long distance between the car and where Marty and Doc were standing. So that's an inconsistency there. But yeah, I'll have to look to see when Marty first went out to the past. I understand when he was being chased by the Libyans, which that's funny that Libyans are chasing him. He didn't go from a standstill to 88. He was being chased around, and he made a turn, and that's finally when he there was one last turn that he made to make a big straight run, and he finally happened to reach 88 and accidentally went to the past. It kicked in the time circuit. So it's obviously that the time machine itself, the time components itself, knows that when the car is accelerating at 88 miles an hour, it has nothing to do with the actual wheel, the rear wheel motion itself. That was a really long explanation to say that there's a lot of inconsistencies in a lot of movies, and that's one big major one. Last night I was watching, I'm a big anime fan, I love Dragon Ball, and I was watching Dragon Ball Z. I was watching specifically some episodes in the Cell Saga, the Cell games specifically. And what was it? I know it was filler episodes. In case you don't know, filler is just episodes that don't really happen. They're just written by the animators just to fill in time. They're not done by a Toriyama. They're not off the manga. They're just bullshit. It's all just made up bullshit. But there was a part. So if you've never seen Dragon Ball, at a point in time in the cell right before the Cell games start, Goku and Gohan are in the room, the room of spirit and time, training. Now, when you're in that room, one day on the outside world is like a year on the inside. So they're in there for a whole year, and they went in there at a time before Cell was able to absorb Android 18 and turn perfect. So neither of them know at that time, while they're in the room of spirit and time, they don't know that Cell turned perfect. They have no idea. They have no idea what he looks like in perfect mode. Because he looks completely different from his last mode. But there's a scene in there where Gohan is obviously sleeping, but he's having a dream, like he's training in the room. And in the dream, there's all filler dream. Like his mom comes in, and wants him to stop training. But when his mom comes in, Perfect Cell appears in that room and slaps the shit out of his mom. Piccolo shows up and says, I couldn't stop him. And Cell hits Piccolo, and Gohan screams, but like they show Cell as perfect form. I'm like, why is Gohan dreaming of Cell in perfect form? He's never seen him. That's really inconsistent. And like a couple episodes later, there was another inconsistency where they were out of the room of spirit time, and they're waiting for the Cell games to actually happen. They have 7 or 8 days until Cell said that the games would start. And they're having like a birthday party for Gohan. Never mind, I just figured out why it's not a inconsistency. I was going to say because there was a part where they show the Dragon Ball, the 4-star ball, in Goku and Chi-Chi's home, because that's Goku's like ball. That's his memento from his grandpa, so he would figure just keep it. But I was thinking that at that time the Dragon Balls were stone and you couldn't see the actual 4-star ball because there's no Kami. But never mind, because in that sequence that was a flashback to when Gohan was a baby, so it was obvious at the time that the Dragon Ball was still a 4-star ball. So never mind about that. I'm stupid. I just realized. But there was a lot of inconsistency in it, and there was another one. Right before the Cell games happened, Bulma tells Trunks that, because Trunks has long hair, he's like, let me cut your hair. And she does, and like he has a cut, shorter cut. There was an episode where he has a short haircut, and I'm thinking they're implying that he went into this room of spirit and time again before the Cell games, but I don't remember them showing him going in and coming out, because in the very next episode he has long hair and the games start. I was like, the hell? The last episode he has short hair. And like I couldn't, I've watched these episodes a million times, well not a million times, but a bunch of times before. I just didn't remember that. I never remember noticing that. So it's just funny things I could see, and I see it in all over the place. All kinds of movies I see inconsistencies. But I can go on forever and name all kinds of things I've seen of movies recently. But I think that will be it for today's vlog. So I'm going to go home. It's getting kind of late, and about that time of year where the sun is starting to rise earlier and it's getting brighter before I get a chance to go home. So I hate driving home when the sun is rising, because for most of my drive I drive into the sun. I hate that shit. Anyways, everybody have a good day. I will talk to y'all later, and I love you.